everything sci-fi, fantasy, geek culture. I'm Michael Seven Michael, and today we've got in our virtual studio
Dayveonne Bussey.
Phoenix Sparks.
Corey Davis.
Yo! Yowza. That's right, everything sci-fi, fantasy, and more. We're going to talk about Uncharted, the Kingsman, Mystery Team, Protectors, and Street Fighter 6 trailer. So buckle up, and here we go. All right, let's start it out with something I did not see. To get that out the way. So talk about stuff I saw. Uncharted. Now, Dayveonne, you saw this, and you said this was a thumbs up.
Yes. And the reason why I say it's a thumbs up, it actually stayed true to the actual story of the game. Okay. It does go towards the origin story of Nathan Drake and how Silly, I forgot the guy's name that Sully, yes, had built up that relationship. But overall, it felt like you was actually playing. Like in the beginning of the movie, no, it was kind of like, okay, you're getting the introduction, but then later on, like towards the middle and end of the movie, you start feeling like you were playing the game or start experiencing game-like symptoms from the movie.
Did anybody else see this?
I did.
Uh-oh, Corey. Are you going to say something totally opposite?
No, actually, I agree with Dayveonne.
What?
For once.
Wait a minute. We got to, put some shots fired or something. Did you guys agree?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't the best video game movie adaptation out there. You had a lot of great stars and Antonio Banderas, Tati Gabrielle, of course, Mark Wahlberg and Tom Holland. They really brought the story to life. There were Easter eggs for people who played the game. If you never played the game, you would be a little lost. It's kind of quirky. It's like the adventure buddy cop movie nobody really wanted, but it was still good and enjoyable to watch.
Why do you say it that way? That's an interesting...
I think, if you'll mind me answer it for you, I think it's more because of Mark Wahlberg and Tom Holland's relationship in the film, pretty much, right?
Okay.
I think it's because Mark Wahlberg has done so many of these type of movies where he's like the second guy in command of the role. It felt like another Mark Wahlberg movie with Tom Holland. And the one thing I did not like about it is Tom Holland can do these stunts. Why did they obviously have a stunt double? Was it continuity? I don't know. But that is the only negative mark I would give about the movie. But it was enjoyable.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So what will we rate?
Movies like that.
Yeah.
Wahlberg. Yeah.
So what will we rate this, Corey? What will we rate this?
Are we doing like best out of 5 Gs?
Yes,
Yeah,
we
let's
are.
do it.
You know, I was
3 out of
go. What you say?
3 out of 5.
3 out of 5. I'll say the same exact thing. 3.5.
Well, he said 3 out of 5. So you saying the same thing would be 3 out of 5, not 3.5.
Oh. Well, sorry. My apologies. I thought he was saying 3.5, but I'll say 3.5.
Okay, so you liked it a little bit better than Corey. All right. The Kingsman, I got issues.
Before we move on, we have a comment in the chat.
Uh-oh, let's do it.
Sigma369 says Tom Holland was the perfect choice for that role. And I will agree with that.
Yeah, we have to agree. Like, he actually... It was like a transition more than, oh my God, he actually portrayed Nathan Drake. In the beginning of the film, it was more like a slow process, like him actually evolving into the Nathan Drake that we know in the video game. So I would say I agree. It just took its evolution.
All right. Now, let's move on to Kingsman. I think it's a great property. It's very interesting. But I have so many issues with this movie, especially coming out at the time that it did. And my man, Dayveonne
Hansu.
Hansu.
Mm-hmm.
Why'd you do this movie, bro?
Really?
Why'd you do this movie? I know that paycheck was good, but why'd you do this movie? It better have been good. And let me tell you why I'm upset. The action was good, right? Whatever like that. The historical things that they mapped out, which is great because I love history. But the misogyny and the racism and like the stereotypical, like, he was like the butler, and then talking about Hansu's character. All right, he's the butler, but then they made this whole thing where, there's a secret tapestry of people within this society trying to save the world, but he still stayed in the butler role. He wasn't an equal, and even at the end, spoiler alert, like, he wasn't part of the round table. He was Merlin. Like, we're all equal here, and we have what title he gave him, Corey? Do you remember? Auxiliary man, or there was a particular title he gave him at the end. And when you research that title, military-wise, all you are is the keeper of the weapons. Basically, you're the butler. You're the military butler.
No, he called him the quartermaster.
Right. Look up what a quartermaster is.
I'm in the military. I know what a quartermaster is.
So then you know why I'm upset. He wasn't equal to the rest of them. He wasn't a general. Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah, but
I have to disagree with
That was
you.
great.
I have to disagree with you.
For it.
I am a fan of the Kingsman franchise. And this origin story, even back in that time where they were depicting World War II, World War One. I thought everyone's character was great. It was well spoken, verbalized, and portrayed. DH's character is great because if you do follow the Kingsman franchise, the quartermaster is the most important person. So I hear what you're saying, but I don't agree.
Me. You don't have to agree, but as long as you hear me, that means there's a part of you.
I feel like he was not just the butler. He was actually the only person he trusted more so than, I forget the other woman who was in their little secret establishment. But he showed.
But it's interesting. It's like he kind of respected her and trusted her, but then at the same time, he was kind of rude and being like a jerk to her at the same time, especially earlier on in the script, which, as a man, where we're at right now, it was just like, if you're going to be the elite group of people that thinks differently, when you're not in front of other people, even if you're playing the role in a society that, what is it, like the 20s, 30s, or whatever it was. No, because it was like the beginning of World War One, so the 1910s, whatever.
The beginning of the 19th century,
yeah. Early 19th century. Like, you should at least be different in private. Like, everyone's equal. Everyone is, like, if you're going to go there, they even gave a speech. Well, all our ancestors raped and pillaged and da-da-da-da-da, but now we're noblemen. And like, half of the speech made sense. Like, you put the right things in there, but then the other half were like, but you're still holding on to that white privilege.
I think you're construing like your biases versus what they did in the movie, because they did have those closed door interactions, and he did mention that in the plot of the movie and the storyline. So everything you're saying, they put in the movie.
Right. Watch it again. Watch it with me. Let's watch it again with me.
But I'm saying, the one thing I will say, this is the most emotional charged version of Kingsman that we had, because they went into a lot of the feelings of war and of people. So that dynamic between him and, I can't remember her name right now, made sense, because, spoiler alert, in 3, 2, 1, in the beginning of the movie, of the death that we have, and his struggles with that, you can see them push and pulling between their emotions.
Now, before I say what I liked about it, because there are things I did, Dayveonne and Phoenix, is there anything that you guys would like to bring to the table on this conversation about the Kingsman?
Go ahead,
Dayveonne.
Sam.
Yeah. I personally didn't watch it, but I was talking to my friend about it, so I'm gonna credit my friend, Michael Zakano. He said he felt it was like very James Bond, but like less tense and a little bit more funny. And I think it's Daniel Craig's. It's his last film or one of his last films, right? So say that's of significance because I think anytime you have somebody who has such a great and prolific career, it's a big deal when they announce like, hey, this is one of my last works of art, right? Because he's had a big career, so that's the only thing I'd like to comment on, even from an acting perspective.
I'm gonna be honest with everybody.
No, lie to us. Why do you always say that?
No, I can't. I can't. It's with this with the Kingsman. Even though it's an origin story, I kind of just felt like I wasn't really invested in it too much because I felt as though the original Kingsman, the first one, was awesome in a comical sense, in the whole actions, James Bond aspect. It's just when they brought him involved, it was like, okay, I'm watching the film. Don't get me wrong, it was a good idea for an origin story. It's just that it never caught my grasp. And I'm a history person and stuff. It's just that it just felt like from the original Kingsman, when the first one came out, it just started going downhill.
So before we move on, Signal Dog in the comments again said that the movie was a disappointment. I feel like they could have done so much more. They had so much to build off of. I understand that sentiment. However, when you have an origin story, you do have to dial it back, which is what I thought they did. However, each movie of Kingsman has one scene that they're going to be remembered for. This had a couple. So I thought that that was great. And I thought they continued on the tradition. While we have such words and such morals that we have of the Kingsmen, I thought they did a great job of explaining that.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, on the positive end, moving as we move along, I did like the fact that straight out the gate, as soon as they showed Rasputin, I was like, oh, I know where they're going. Like, because I didn't watch any trailers, I didn't know anything about it, and what's her name? Mada. Hold on a second. I just want to get that.
While you're getting that, we have to give the movie a rating.
Yes.
Before
Mada. You know who that Mata Hari, right?
Yes.
So as soon as Mada, it's like I knew exactly. So from a history buff aspect, I liked how they tied all these people together, and you know, and I thought that was pretty cool. Again, it's been done before, but it's nice to see it done nicely. I thought they did it really neat, and if you didn't know, you didn't know. If you knew, you were like, oh, I know who this character is and stuff like that. So I thought that was pretty good. So 2.5.
So the one aspect of the movie that I would give it is because we've had plenty of war movies, but this movie did such a great job of giving you the before, the during, and the after effects of war. And no other war movie has gone this far into the emotions. So I think I'm going to bump my rating up from a 3.5 to a 4 for this movie.
Wow,
just because
that's impressive.
Yeah.
And Dayveonne?
I'm gonna go with Michael 2.5.
Haters.
Let's move on. Listen, man. I was offended, so it is what it is. All right.
Like I wasn't offended.
Mystery Team. Now, here's a pleasant surprise. That was just a pleasure to watch.
Told you.
You know, it was basically you have a bunch of young men that wanted to be, I guess, detectives. And as they grew up, from being little kids to high school, they just never really grew up. And I think that's an interesting story to tell. And it was just cute. There's a lot of funny moments. You kind of jump right into it. Of course, we have Mr. Glover, which did a great job. And in fact, I want to look up because it's such a small top cast. Hold on, Mister.
Glover, Dominic, Dirk, Stacey Pearson, Aubrey, yeah,
Plata. Yeah, I love her.
Allie Camper, and Matt Walsh.
Yeah.
And you know what? Aubrey Plaza, she's been in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And was this her first big thing?
Yes. I didn't.
I think she's
her
great.
Was
Kemper.
Because I remember her in Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she did a really great job. She's, she kind of typecast in a way. And funny enough, this was a little different from what she's normally, but she has this tone, and that's her thing. That's her note, but it just works, you know. But it was great. It was looks like it was kind of major, kind of independent. It was weird how they did this. But I would definitely recommend it. Donald Glover's just great. I would love to work with him. He's just great.
Thank you for acknowledging that.
Disagree.
What happened?
I
have to disagree.
Uh-oh, go for it.
You don't like Donnie? What's going on, though?
Corey, what's wrong with you?
I don't like my mans.
I love Donald Glover. However, this is one of those movies that if you were to watch it today, so many people would be offended. You can't make this movie anymore.
Oh
it was a little extreme. However, I felt like this movie was more of a soundtrack for him than an actual movie. There were great laughs because he's a great writer, but as a whole point, I thought this movie was just lacking. It felt like a high school film project more so than a B movie. I can't even give it a B movie, maybe a D movie that showcased his soundtrack. That
interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. That's all I say. Wow.
I love him as a writer and what he did with Community, but this movie, had I watched it when it first came out, you would have a completely different feel than, if it were shown on a show or streaming service today.
Okay, but to play opposition, he's a writer, a comedian, a music artist, an actor. When you have so many talents, can you blame him for wanting to give himself exposure? Or
No. I don't blame him at all. I just feel like this was a poor execution to show off your soundtrack. It could have been done better.
Interesting. So Dayveonne, Corey, what do you guys give this one? And did you see it, Phoenix?
No. I'm sheltered.
3. I want to say 3 or 3. Yeah. Can I say 3.5? It's like 3.3.
Okay. You can say that.
Yeah. I wouldn't go out
I
my
would
way,
give it
but it was
a 1 point.
A what? A 1 point what?
The 1.5. The only reason it has a 1.5 is because the music is some of the jokes. Other than that, it's you can skip this one.
Wow. And Dayveonne?
A 3.
Okay.
A 3. Because it was their first project. It was their first project when they actually got their foot in the door, before they got their foot in the door to Hollywood. So you have to look at it that way. That was their entry into Hollywood.
I don't care first laugh, because I think at that point, then you're, I look at it all as a clean slate. And from a clean slate, it was enjoyable. But Corey didn't like it. But definitely don't go down that road. Oh, it was their first, nah.
There was a whole bunch of continuity issues with this movie.
So you didn't like the
wait.
Getting the ring out the toilet? You didn't like that scene?
Oh, that was let's do that.
there were a couple. I mean, to be fair, there were a couple of things that were like, but anyway, The Protectors. What did you guys think of The Protectors?
Who saw it?
Are you what? Okay. When you say The Protectors, are you talking about the one with the martial artist, and it's about the elephant. Michael.
No,
No.
that's on Bach. That's a
Oh,
martial
my,
art.
okay, so
This was like an independent film
Right.
on
On
Amazon Prime,
Yeah.
and you have this black kid who has these superpowers because his father's from another planet, and it went in a direction I really didn't expect.
okay, yeah, wrong movie. Wrong
Compared
movie. Wrong movie.
movie to Mystery Team, this movie was way better, and it had way less.
I mean, but they definitely took their time with the special effects. They definitely went in.
Mm.
You know, for an independent, I was pretty impressed with what they accomplished. So you could tell it wasn't like a multi-million-dollar production, but again, it was enjoyable.
But
I mean,
they did.
mhm.
They gave you that sense of speed that multi-million dollars movies fail to do. So I really gave them a lot of respect for that.
Oh yes, they did a good job with that. They did a very good job. You could tell they use their budget wisely, and you know they use their local high school a couple times for different scenes. Like you could tell, like location wise. So for what they accomplished, I give them a lot of props for sure.
Awesome.
The story was there. The emotional moments, I don't know, for some reason, and it must be something very difficult to do without being overly sappy, but you need to do it to build the characters. A little off this a little bit. Do you any films that you guys can think of that have done that right? That could be like a tool for filmmakers or people that want to create.
There was this one film I remember that was at Comic Con and it got like publicized on Netflix and everything. I forgot the name, and it was like it was close to being a Robin film, but it was very dark.
Was it
Where the guy,
anything that normal people would see and know that you?
like if it was put to the right, if it was sent to the right people, like sent to the right audience, I think people would watch it because it was
No, that's not
very
the
interesting.
point. The point
Oh,
is there anything major that's out there that you think that someone could watch and say, hey, they did it right? Like Harry Potter #4, they did it right because
got
that's an
you.
example.
Okay, my bad.
I would say Squid Game because yeah, they really did the emotional
Oh,
aspect of that show very, very well. So Korean dramas, they do it well. I've said it before, and I'll say it again.
And
If
he
you want to
does
study,
every show. He says it again.
I
Train
think,
to Bosse.
I mean, I not to be oppositional, but I feel like Squid Game, even though a lot of people really liked it, it was very popular. The concept was so old.
Well, this is true.
The most dangerous game.
yeah,
Hello, the same exact thing. It's like hunting people for sport. Hunger Games. I mean, it wasn't like conceptually super original.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. It's like, oh, another zombie movie. You know, oh, another we're hunting people movie. I don't know. But I just
fair.
Well, would you guys would you recommend The Protector for people to watch that?
Like at this moment, I'm probably gonna need to watch it after the way y'all described it.
It's not for everyone. I wouldn't say for a mainstream movie, but if you're like a filmmaker looking to choose your shots or special effects, or if you just like this genre of movie of indie films and people getting their foot in the door with filmmaking, I would recommend it for those people.
Okay.
Okay.
That's fair. Uh, I'll give it a strong 2.5.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm comparing it to great films that I treat the indie stuff and the major stuff equal. Just for what I saw, just from what's there. And
Gotcha.
I would definitely say watch it. It's enjoyable. I wouldn't say avoid it, but I wouldn't say like if you had movie night, that's the warm up. And then
Gotcha.
you watch the, you know, would that be correct, Corey?
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. So I was going to give it a 2.5, but because of that point, and because they do a lot of things well, if you do watch it, you probably would get invested. I would say the first 20 minutes before you lose interest, or 30. So I would actually up my rating from 2.5 to 3 because of that.
Oh, interesting. I like it. I like it.
Okay.
So go watch The Protector. It's on Prime and it's free.
Yeah, Amazon.
We plug in a lot of Amazon Prime. Hey, Prime, write us a check.
I was failing on my scanning the comment section, and Signal Doll said Blood and Bone is a great movie also.
Which one?
Blood and Bone.
Blood and Bone. I think I saw that. What's that one about?
I started watching it. I didn't finish. I have to go back into. Let's see what it comes up as.
Okay, it's really with Michael J. White.
Oh, I did see that one, right? Yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I had
would
to cut my
agree.
screen off.
So you know what?
But
Maybe
when
I
it
started-
we should talk about that next show.
Thanks for the recommendation, Signal Dog.
Yeah, thanks.
thanks.
Appreciate you. All right, so we're going to sign off and then do our after show. So everybody give your social media.
Dayveonne Bussey on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, The Jamal Williams Show.
Phoenix Sparks _official on Instagram, also Twitch.
You can find me, Corey Davis, at IamGT3 on all of the things.
And I'm Michael7 Michael on IG. You're watching GeekCaster. You go to GeekCaster.com. You can go to GeekCaster IG. And anyone that's watching us live, don't go nowhere. Hold on. We're going to do the after show right away. If you're watching us on cable, you'll have to wait another week. So there you go. But that's what we do. So we're going to have some music and we'll be right back. How about that right there?
Mm-hmm.